Hello viewers. Today we have a very nice poem known as Fire and Ice. Fire and Ice has been written by Robert Frost. Robert Frost was an American poet. He has written uncountable poems. His poems were published in America basically. He was admired for his depiction of the rural life of New England. His command of American colloquial speech and his realistic verse portraying ordinary people in everyday situation. He is champion of words, known as romantic poet also. He belongs to 20th century and at present a very beautiful poem that is titled Fire and Ice. The poem has been written by the poet, and this simply deals with the possible destruction of the Mother Earth. The poet highlights the human tendency in this poem. The poet highlights self-destruction of each and every human being in this poem. Robert Frost refers to the two predictions that have been made on how the world will end. As the poem starts, some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. This is not the opinion of the poet. This is the opinion of the general people. And two types of opinion we have now. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favors fire. Some say it will end in fire. According to others, it will end in ice. There are two kinds of opinion. Fire and ice. Some say the world will end in fire, and some say the world will end in ice. The poet keeps himself aloof from the opinion. He has not given the answer of these two types of explanation. He is quite silent. The poet equates fire with desire. Fire and desire both are equal according to the poet. He says that he had tasted desire and he knows that man's desire for supremacy can ultimately lead to the destruction of the planet. He also means that to fulfill his many desires, man exploits natural resources. And this will ultimately result in the destruction of the planet. Afterwards, the poet further explains that the world can also end by ice or extreme coldness. Ice simply symbolizes coldness. He then equates ice with hate. Hatred in the hearts of the people towards their fellow human beings will also result in the end of the world. You can observe simply terrorism. Terrorism is the byproduct of hatred. terrorism is one form of hatred and it has led to substantial loss of life and property. Therefore, as per the opinion of Robert Frost, the world is full of desire and hatred, and these will ultimately cause the destruction of the earth. As the question is concerned, when the poet talks about fire, it simply symbolizes greed, avarice, lust, conflict, fury, and intolerance. Whereas ice symbolizes cruelty, rigidity, insensitivity, coldness, indifference, and hatred. The opinion of different kinds of people divided into two groups has been beautifully picturized in this poem. Some says the world is going to be ended by the fire, and some says this world will be ended because of ice. The poet further explains, I think I know enough of hate to know that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. The rhyme scheme of the poem is very simple. That is ABA, ABC, and BCB. The rhyme schemes makes the poem beautiful. The poet is successfully presenting here why and when the world would die. The earth will end. It will be ended either by fire or by ice. The poet keeps himself unanswered for these two questions. The poem is short, no doubt, but it has grave meaning. Once upon a time, Mr. Robert Frost claimed, my poem begins in delight but ends in wisdom. And in this poem, Fire and Ice, we get echoes of the above statement. The poet considers the age-old question in this poem whether the world will end in fire or in ice. This one is the basic question. But the answer of this basic question has not been given by the poet. This is the beauty of this poem, which touches the heart of every reader. It is quite interesting that the poet doesn't give his own opinion in this regard. It is meaningless to ask which one is stronger, as we know both of them are equally harmful to the world. We can associate fire with lust, greed, avarice, and intolerance, whereas ice can be associated with hatred and indifference. The fire of lust and greed gets publicity, but the coldness of hatredness is also dangerous as it is a silent killer. All of such black sight of human nature can obstruct the progress of human civilization. No doubt, positivity and negativity, two types of aspects available in the personality of every human being. The person who is negative by brain can't get success in his life. We must avoid negativity from our personality. The poem is quite simple and short, but it has great magnificence. This one is significant, a remarkable poem. The poet is explaining two types of opinion in this poem. Some people say the world is going to end because of fire, and some people say the world will be finished because of ice. Fire and ice both are the representative of our desire, our indifference. We know very well that because of the desire of human being, when one desire is going to be completed, another arises. It has no end. It is limitless. The desire of human being is responsible for many types of devastation, destruction. The poet never explains his own opinion in this poem. He keeps this question before all of you. You have to find out the correct answer. How the world will die, whether by fire or by ice. Beautifully, the poet has managed and put the question before the readers. But he keeps himself unanswered. He was not participating in this simple debate. The poet has given a nice message through this poem to its reader. The poet has tried to convey a warning. He is giving a warning to the people, to the reader, along with a message. Warning and message both are given by the poet by the help of this short poem, Fire and Ice. Warning for human being, because if they can't improve themselves, if they can't change themselves, naturally there will be destruction. There will be calamity. There will be complete annihilation of the civilization. Nobody will survive in this world. Therefore, he warns us. And simultaneously, he suggests us also in the form of a message. He is saying, if mankind is not able to control its undiminishing desire and feeling of hatred, then it would be definitely bring an early end to the whole world. As we know very well, human desire, it arises out in every personality, every brain. Desire is the root cause of all problems. If we control our desire, our life became sublime and full of happiness. If we don't control our desire, and when our desire is not fulfilled, we will remain in anxiety, tension, and a lot of problems. So in a right way, the poet is successful to providing a nice message to its reader. Simultaneously, he warns also to control over our desire, over our hatredness. Both are dangerous. Both are dangerous because desire represents, hatred represents fire and ice. And this one is only the cause which can destruct the world, which can annihilate the world. The poem is very interesting. Language is lucid and straightforward. Meaning is quite simple. And Robert Frost is successful through this poem by creating a debate among the readers. He is not participating to give the answer. He has still put the question opened before all of you. It is the duty of yours to think properly and take a right suggestion. This poem, Fire and Ice, immortalized the poet Robert Frost, who was dominant personality during 20th century in America. These contents will be helpful for all of you to summarize the poem, to write the answer, and so on and so forth. With these words, I conclude this poem saying that the poet is successfully provided us a pen picture of a debate titled Fire and Ice. Now I conclude. Thank you very much.